And I think of like, for you, business coaching, for me, podcasting, why are we better coaches now than we were in the beginning? Because we have more strategies and we've taken action on those strategies.
But I would not get the President's Award because I was sick. I would do whatever it took. I would die trying if I had to. And I don't think I've ever set a goal without the intention of like, I will die trying if I have to. And you've helped me understand that.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 794, last week's live Q&A. How big should your goals be? Today, for episode number 795, we're inching up there towards 800. We are going to talk about what people don't tell you about manifestation. I was on a podcast. Alan and I have been on a lot of podcasts in the last couple of months. And I was explaining how one of the things on my PPT is I call it visualization manifestation, where every single day for at least 15 minutes, I watch a home tour or I watch a video of my dream car. And we were talking about it. And I was like, number one, how cool is that that's something like I get to do every day that's actually helping me in my future. But then her and I were talking and I said, but I think the important thing is if you're watching or listening to this right now, you could very easily take that as, oh, wow, Kev, when he does get that Mercedes, when he does get that house, it's going to be because he was watching the videos every day and priming his subconscious mind and really using the law of attraction in his favor. And I said, I just want to be very honest here. Yes, the visualizing and believing in something that does not yet exist is super important. And I said, yes, me emotionalizing the way it'll feel to walk into that home, the way it'll feel to start that car. Awesome. Super important to connect those things. But what people are missing, what people don't talk about is the strategy. The strategy behind, and I said this on the interview, you have to understand the reason I'm doing the things I do every day is because Alan and I have already determined that those are the most important things for me to be doing to get to my future. So a lot of people, when they talk about manifestation, this is the problem. They don't talk about strategy. Yes, thinking about it, visualizing it, emotionalizing it, those are all somewhat of a strategy, but it's not the same. Like you have to get out there and do the thing. And if you're not doing the thing, it's not going to happen. And again, Alan and I have had a lot of people on here who talk about manifestation. And in retrospect, I wish Alan and I had rumbled with these guests a little more of like, look, I know you said the weight just melted off, but that's not scientifically how it works. Like, what did you do? Did you do something different? Did you stop drinking? Were you eating out less? Like, because there is a strategy that gets a result. So I just thought it would be important, Alan and I, when we were thinking of the episodes, we thought it would be important to do it from the scope of heart-driven, but no BS. When we do accomplish all the things that we talk about, it's not just because we were visualizing and emotionalizing, it's because we were strategizing and taking action on. And I think sometimes people leave that out of the equation.
I think this comes down to a lot of reverse engineering. Are you reverse engineering the finish line? We talk about that all the time. And the strategy is sort of like a recipe. Right. And a good analogy is Kevin and I were actually just talking about meal prepping prior to this. And there's a new home fries recipe that Emilia and I are doing that's really, really good. And that, what is a recipe? A recipe is you follow a step-by-step process that gets the same result over and over and over again, whether it's chocolate cake or home fries or whatever. And that's kind of what you can do in life when it comes to manifestation. And it's an algorithm, it's a recipe, it's a strategy. That's why before you build the home, you have to design the blueprint. You have to start with the foundation. You have to understand how to apply concrete or whatever it is. And so we have something called the manifestation equation that we've talked about in previous episodes. I want to bring that up and give you the step-by-step formula right out of the gate. And then we're going to rumble with the strategy side of it. All right. So there's 7 steps in the manifestation equation. I'm going to literally read them off. Christina created an incredible digital asset for this. If you want it, you can reach out to me or Kevin. We have it available. We can email it to you. DM us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or you can email us, kevin@nextleveluniverse.com or alan@nextleveluniverse.com. Okay, so number 1, set the intention. Decide exactly what vision you intend to achieve, and this requires high self-belief. Number 2, pay attention. Prime your reticular activating system to pick up on the persons, places, things, and ideas that are aligned with your intention. Emilia and I were recently driving to the gym, and she's like, I don't understand. There's couches everywhere. Everybody's giving away couches. No, it's because we're actually shopping for couches right now. My birthday's coming up. My mom's going to be contributing to it. We're about to get a couch because lately we've been sitting on the floor. But now, it's not that couches are suddenly everywhere. It's that her reticular activating system is primed, and that's what we talked about. So again, pay attention. Set intention, pay attention. Strategize, and that's what we're going to focus on in this episode today. Once you see an opportunity aligned with your intention, and pay attention, you need to strategize about which is the best action with the highest probability of statistical success based on your current awareness. And the key is based on your current awareness. If you're at the beginning of a fitness journey, you don't know exactly how many calories to eat. You don't know exactly what workouts to do and not do, right? And you should hire a coach because that's really where the strategy piece comes in. Number 4, strict alignment. Strict alignment, having the courage to say no to all of the persons, places, things, and ideas that are outside of alignment with that intention/vision. This requires high self-worth. Okay, this is my hardest one of all these steps, saying no to the wrong persons, places, things, and ideas. Number 5, take action. Kevin already talked about that, right? If you read the book, The Secret, it's great to visualize and to wish and to hope and to manifest, but they don't talk a lot in that book about strategy or taking action. So number 5 is take action. Have courage and take messy action based on the strategy, even if you have uncertainty. Okay, so Kevin and I, when we first started this journey, we were not certain how to succeed in podcasting. Now we have far more awareness and far more certainty, but even back then we were taking messy action. Started with 1 episode, went to 2 episodes, eventually we went to 3, 4, 5, now 7. And if we could go back and coach ourselves, we would have accelerated that process so much. It's not even funny. We failed forward and we learned a lot, and failing forward is definitely a key part of manifesting. But you remember, you don't have to fail forward and learn from your own experience. You can learn from the experience of other people. And that's actually why we are coaches, because we can help you understand, oh my goodness, don't do XYZ. Definitely do, these things. And these are the things that we've found to be successful. You don't have to make every mistake yourself. Number 6, learn from it. Once you take messy action, learn from the results. If you succeed in getting the desired outcome, great. That teaches you what works. If you didn't, also great. What didn't you know before that now you can use to recalibrate your strategy and intuition for next time? The entire NLU team, as you know, uses Peak Performance Tracker. And at the tail end of the Peak Performance Tracker, so you have 1 KPI, you have a daily dozen, 4 habits for the morning, 4 habits for the afternoon, 4 habits for the evening, hopefully under health, wealth, and love. And then at the tail end, you've got total productive output, which is a percentage for the day. Okay, did I have a 70% day? Okay, awesome. The last column is performance review. Again, Peak Performance Tracker, performance review. Now that you have, okay, I had a 70% day. Okay, what's 1% improvement that you intend to make for tomorrow? Imagine, I remember Emilia asked me this Sunday. She said, what are you going to invest into your 33rd year? My birthday is on Wednesday. Today's the 15th. So yeah, my birthday is on Wednesday and I'm going to be 33. And she asked me that question of what are you going to invest from your past into your future? What understanding? And we talked about alignment and basically how now in my old age, for lack of better phrasing, I'm not going to be outside alignment anymore. I'm just not. I know why I'm here and I know what I'm here to do, and it's help people maximize their potential. And if I'm not going to basically say yes to anything outside of alignment with that anymore, that's what I'm going to do in my 33rd year. But my point is, you got to learn from the first 32 years. But what if you learned every single day and set a new intention every single day? Can you imagine? Okay, 7th and last step, rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat the last 6 steps. With consistency, all things are possible. Without it, almost nothing is. You can't just do this process once, but rather over and over and over again. Success is finite games within an infinite game. Keep momentum at all costs. I have a client, literally, who I've been coaching for years. And he's been trying to do this formula for years. And we had an 8-month period where we didn't work together. And I remember he told me literally years ago, I want to take my annual income, which was significant, by the way, and I want to make it a monthly income. I am very, very proud to anonymously announce that client, even though it took years, remember, it took years of failure to figure this out, actually made his annual income in 1 day as of yesterday. So, but if you saw him 2 months ago, you would have thought he was failing. And so sometimes it takes time to crack the code. I remember Kevin and I, for the longest time, were trying to figure out how to go have more impact on other podcasts, and it was such a struggle. And now we found this thing called matchmaker.com where podcasters are looking for guests just like us, and all of a sudden cracked the code. Now we're on podcasts all the time. The key is manifesting is not just going to happen. You're not just going to suddenly have everything work out. It took unbelievable hard work and strategy. And so that manifestation equation, if you want it, reach out. But what we want to focus on today in this episode is the strategy piece and the taking action piece.
I was on one of our client, David London's podcast, the Deskbound Therapy Podcast. And it was interesting because that's the first time in a long time I've talked about fitness on a podcast. And I think it's a really good example of manifestation, because if you think about it, when I started my fitness journey, I only had so much strategy, and that strategy produced a result. When I wanted to get to the next level of my results, I had to get a new strategy. I hired a coach. Now I'm not working with a coach, but every time I go in the gym, I have a new level of awareness, and I can visualize, okay, if I move a certain way, it feels a certain way. What if I change it? So I'm seeing something that does not yet exist in my mind, but I have different strategies. Every time I go to the gym, I can implore a different strategy, and I'm going to get a different result from that, versus saying, well, I'm just going to imagine and emotionalize and I'm going to manifest my dream body. It's like you can do that, but not without strategy and action. And I think of, like, for you, business coaching, for me, podcasting, why are we better coaches now than we were in the beginning? Because we have more strategies and we've taken action on those strategies. I said that to somebody the other day. I said, you have to stop listening to these people who are telling you this BS. They don't know. And do you know how I know they don't know? Because they have 30 episodes. Like, they just don't know. They just don't. We have 800 and we failed along the way, but every failure created a new opportunity for a different strategy and a different action. And if, Alan, you know people, I know people who out there we've worked with in the past, and they're thinking to themselves, well, I know I'm going to end up on a stage in front of thousands of people. I hope you do, but something has to shift because you do not yet have the right strategy. You have the belief, and that's amazing, and that's a super important part. But the belief without strategy isn't necessarily going to bring you anywhere. I asked Dave Meltzer that. I said, what is faith without strategy and action? Is that delusion? And I don't remember the answer he gave because I'm sure it was super deep. But I think that's what you hire a coach for. You hire a coach to give you accountability for action and to give you strategy that they've already done and gotten results on, so you can avoid the failures and they've already paid the dummy tax. And it's just, like, let's just be honest, full disclosure. Alan and I are struggling a little bit now with who we want to have on the show, because this is next level university, and we really want to bring people on that will help you get to the next level. Now, if somebody comes on here, and again, there's a fine line, but if somebody comes on here and says, you're amazing the way you are and you're capable of everything you're dreaming of, it's like, sure, I believe you're amazing the way you are. I don't know that you're capable of everything that you're dreaming of, because I don't know that you have the right strategy or ability to take the action yet. Maybe you have or the skills, right? Maybe you don't have the strategy, but you have an amazing imagination. That's awesome. That's a great place to start. Not everybody has an amazing imagination. So we're trying to figure out and continue bringing people on that are experts in their area to help you get to the next level. And full disclosure, that has become a little bit difficult. And this is one of the reasons why, because a lot of people have results or the illusion of results without the ability to teach the strategy. And that's a dangerous game.
It is a dangerous game.
Hi, my name is David London, and I'm the host of the Deskbound Therapy Podcast. I've been working with Alan and Kevin for the last 2 months with both business coaching and podcast coaching, and I've seen tremendous value and growth, not only in my business, but in my personal life and in my relationships, because their coaching has taught me to focus on so much more than just the business itself. It's really helped me level up, and every time things are going well, they really continually push me to reach the next level, and I definitely recommend working with them. They're such great people to work together. I have both met them personally, in person at a live event, and gotten the opportunity to work with them closely online and communicate with them. And I listen to the podcast every day, so I definitely recommend checking out the podcast. Check out their business coaching or their, even just life coaching if you want to level up your mindset and your game and just be happier and healthier. Definitely recommend both Alan and Kevin at Next Level University.
Believing that something is possible without strategy and work ethic is delusion. I didn't realize this early in my life, but when I used to say that I wanted to be a Fortune 50 CEO like my hero Steve Jobs, I never intended on not doing whatever it took. I never thought that it would just happen. And Kev, I think it's important for you to share with our listeners like the difference, because I didn't realize this, but I've never set a goal that I didn't actually intend on doing. Genuinely. Like even when I lost my first fitness show, I never stopped until I won. I always knew that I could do it. And I think I appeared delusional to people that were not already. When I set a goal, I set the goal with the understanding that I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And I'll fail forward the entire time and I'll tweak my strategy. And Tony Robbins uses this simple example. He's like, how long would you allow your average baby to try until you won't let them try to walk anymore? It's like, how long would you give your average baby for them to, how many times would you let them fall down before you'd say, you know what, honestly, maybe walking's not for you? Mm-hmm. And he says like, oh, go figure. Everyone in the world walks unless you have like some sort of paralyzed or anything like that. But my point is like, whenever I set a goal, Kev, I didn't set the goal thinking it would just happen ever. Yeah. I'll tell this brief story and then I want you to talk about the Winnebago thing. When I was in high school and I set the goal to get straight A's to get the President's Award, Kevin, my senior year of high school, and I don't know if you remember this, but I remember safe graduation. You probably went to safe graduation, right? Mm-hmm. I was homesick for that. And I think I've told you this story, but I was out of school for 2.5 months because I had horrible sinus infections and I went to every specialist, ear, nose, and throat doctors. I went to every ear, nose, and throat doctor, allergist, you name it. I just was so sick. And dude, I remember getting down to the bare minimum where I literally would like sleep all day, struggle to get out of bed and just do my homework. And I would like get my teachers to send me the homework and send me packets of homework so that I could still get straight A's even from home. Mm. Dude, it was nothing short of absolutely brutal. It was nothing short of horribly brutal. But I would not get the President's Award because I was sick. I would do whatever it took. I would die trying if I had to. And I don't think I've ever set a goal without the intention of like, I will die trying if I have to. And you've helped me understand that. And so for anyone who doesn't set goals from that lens, see, I'm presupposing the work ethic and the strategy. I don't set goals unless I know I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Well, and the other thing is you also, I think you have a higher awareness of what it actually will take. That's an important...
Sometimes I don't. I think maybe higher, but sometimes I don't know what it will really take. I just know that I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Well, even
so like, for example, Steve Cook's physique, like I have an idea of what that will take, but sometimes it takes more than I thought. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just going back to the fitness show, it's like you knew you could win, but you didn't have the right strategy. You just missed on the strategy the first time.
Right. But I knew that I would eventually have the right strategy.
Yeah.
Whenever I set a goal, I always remember the Ironman house thing. So Kevin and I were in California and we were on the Pacific Coast Highway and we stopped for tacos, burritos, tacos,
something like that. It was good.
It was fire. Beautiful, by the way. And there's this home up on the side of a mountain. And I was like, that's like the Ironman house. And I want that house. I want a house like that or that home. That's going to be my home. And I remember at the time you thought that was cocky.
A little bit, yeah.
Kev, the reason why I'm able to say that is because I'll just keep going until I figure it out.
Mhm.
Like there was no part of me that thinks that's just going to suddenly happen.
Right.
There was no part of that was like, oh, it'll just work out. No, it was like I actually intend to go figure out how to actually do that.
Mm.
And I think that if you tell your Winnebago story, hopefully the listeners will understand the difference between the way in which you used to operate versus the way you operate now when it comes to the strategy piece.
I think it's a wonderful example of the difference between hoping and intending. When I was probably 11 or 12, I don't remember my exact age, but my buddies and I would ride our bikes around the neighborhood, and we used to talk about like, hey, in the future we're going to be professional baseball players, and we're going to drive around the country in Winnebagos, and we're going to have really nice cars and four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and our wives will come with us, and it's going to be awesome. Like, we're just going to travel around the world, around the country. And in theory, I had this really imaginative view of the future, which is awesome. And I was imagining it and I could feel it. Like I was emotionalizing it. I was like, that's going to be so awesome. I can't wait for that. The problem is I didn't have the strategy. I didn't know how much a Winnebago cost, how much it was going to cost to go around the country, what I was going to do for a job. I assumed I was going to play Major League Baseball, which didn't end up happening. And I think that what a lot of people do is they start something and they say they want a certain goal, but they don't actually know / are willing to do what it'll take to get that goal. I've said this many times. I'm in a lot of podcast Facebook groups, and people say, well, if I don't get 100,000 downloads in the first year, or I'm only going to do, I'm going to try 60 episodes and see what happens. It's like, that's not how you manifest. You're already limiting yourself. But what if you said, I will literally do this for as long as I have to until I succeed? You'd have to figure out the strategy. You'd have to figure out the action. You'd have to figure out the rest of it. So again,
when you set a goal now and you visualize, what's different? Because I never was on that other end, and I didn't realize that until later in life. And I've been doing a lot of reflecting coming up on my birthday about my past and my past relationships, friends from college, friends from high school.
Mm.
I used to have a joke with one of my buddies, Nick. He used to say, like, I'm going to be, at your company, and I'm going to have my own office or whatever. And he used to joke about that. And I'm thinking about it, and it's like, oh, so I thought we were just joking around, but like that's actually what he thought was the only way he could get there. I guess in his mind, that's the only way he could start or be a part of the company. When it's
possible.
like, I think that was his playful way of saying, like, I'm going to be a part of what you do because I don't know if I'm going to create my own thing. So when you set the goal to be, traveling Winnebagos and be in the MLB, like, did you intend on like making sure that happens?
No, I didn't know how it would. I hoped it would happen. Where now, I did an Instagram story the other day of like my dream car. I was like, this was my old dream car, the one I wanted in high school that I ended up getting, right? I ended up getting my quote unquote dream car. This is my new dream car, but it's different because I'm not hoping. I know in my bones now it's just a matter of time, but that's only because I know I'm doing the right things.
But what about before you were? You weren't always doing the right things.
I think I was delusional. I think I was delusional. And I never would have got that, and I probably would have blamed whatever.
Can't you know in advance that you don't know the strategy yet?
Yeah, but if you don't know the strategy, I guess...
Because you know you'll get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another layer of like, I
know.
I didn't know the strategy. I just knew I'd go get it.
But that's another layer of belief. Of like, you might
Let's give
not
our
know,
listeners that.
You might not know how to do it, but you know how to find out how to do it.
Yeah.
Where I think that's also not rare, but I think I don't want to say it's super rare, but I think that's rare.
So how do our listeners, you have that now.
I learned it from you.
How do our listeners get that? Because, dude, you could literally set any goal you want right now and then just go figure out how to do it. Like, honestly.
But that takes
time. You feel
confident
in that, right? Like, let's say you wanted a Winnebago. Like, you could literally decide.
I feel confident in that, yeah. But that's because it's...
Give that to our listeners.
I don't know that you can just be given it. I think it's one of those things of like, you have to start small. You have to start small by imagining something, feeling it, and then taking action and getting it. And
I think
our
listeners want a Winnebago. How do they get it?
First thing is figure out how much the Winnebago cost,
Yep.
probably. And then, this is what I would do. This would be my thing. Every day, I'd watch a video of your Winnebago, okay, on YouTube, wherever it is. And
Perfect.
imagine yourself driving down the road. Imagine what the bathroom is. Imagine what the bed is. Imagine your family, whatever it is, wherever you're going, Yellowstone National Park, Grand Canyon, whatever. Feel it, like really feel it. Think about it before you go to bed. And then think of how much money am I making now? How much money do I have to make to afford that? What's the monthly payment? What if I buy it all in cash? And then strategize on how to make more money and spend less money and save more money. But that's the strategy part.
Yeah.
That's the strategy
Totally
part.
doable.
Of course.
Everything in that is totally completely reasonable.
Of course. Yeah.
That's why I sound weird to people. Because
Yeah.
I just do that. What Kevin just unpacked, I automatically do.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like, I'm going to make 6 figures out of college. One of my friends was like, what do you mean? You really think you could do that? It was like 100%. You don't think you can? I don't get it. How do you not think
lucky.
that? But it's like people make 6 figures. You know what I mean? Like it's like a thing. It's not actually that uncommon.
No.
So
I think it's the visionary part of you. I think that's what it is, of like, I'll just figure it out. I think that's a rare thing. I think it's a rare quality.
But you have it now.
More than I ever have. But again, I've spent not every day, but I've talked to you every day for the last 5 years. I think that's definitely part of it.
I hope we can give that to our listeners. I want our listeners to have that. It's a beautiful, beautiful power that you really can design whatever life you want. Like that's the most exciting thought in the world to me. So anyways, I didn't mean to just put you on the spot.
No, you're good. You're good. As long as you're willing to do all the parts. If you got to do the whole part, you have to visualize, feel, imagine, strategize, take action, all of the things, and
fail forward,
and everything Alan said. And yeah, that's the thing, is like have the perseverance to keep going. Like think about that. Again, I said the stat the other day. We had 1,052 downloads our first year, and now we get that in a day. So that's only because we kept going. So we wanted to jump in, heart driven, but no BS. I think this is an important topic. And if you find yourself out there like, oh, you know what? I'm finding myself guilty of that, of just hoping that it's going to happen and not doing the right things, then you can hope you're going to win a chess match. But if you don't make the right moves, you're just not going to.
Period.
It's
100%.
just not going to happen. And it's like that with all things. You can hope that you're going to get in better shape, but if you're not employing the right strategy, it's just not going to happen. And
100%.
We, heart driven, but no BS. That's the goal here.
A fire episode.
That was a good one.
I love this topic. Yeah. And if you want the manifestation equation, it's literally taken decades to figure that out.
2,000 years.
2,000. It's the real secret. No. But seriously, it's 7 steps, and you need all 7 of them, from my understanding, in order to actually manifest. A lot of these steps I was doing without knowing I was doing them. So reach out.
And in a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, when, and again, this is no ego. I don't want this to sound like it's coming from a place of ego, but when Alan and I have a lot of the results we've been talking about, listen back to this and realize like, this is the way. Like it's not going to be a course. Like I didn't take a course that taught me this part and this part and this part. It was the things that we're doing every single day. And you can do the same things every single day. Alan highlighted one of his clients. A lot of my clients are growing their podcast. Why? Because they're doing the right things.
They're growing it better than we did.
For sure.
Because of you. Because they're getting the cheat codes in advance.
For sure.
The better strategies. Yeah. As a matter of fact, all of our Next Level Podcast Solutions clients have more listens than we did in the first year.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times what we had. Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's because of your guidance, Kev. So I think it's important. So reach out if you need help.
I have numbers written down here on my paper because I always forget the dates. March 26th, 2022, live, Worcester, Massachusetts. Somewhere in Worcester. We don't know yet. It is the first annual. Oh, no, we're doing quarterly events, right?
Quarterly events.
So the first quarterly?
First quarterly.
The first quarterly event, Next Level Live, Alan and I, and 6 other amazing speakers. Again, we all have the opportunity to have amazing, drastic change in our lives, but we have to take action. This is a great opportunity to get in the room with a lot of other amazing people and really level up your life, level up your relationships. We have some amazing speakers. We'll be releasing those names very shortly, but make this event a priority. Whether you got to fly across the country or drive up from somewhere, we cannot wait to see you. We're very excited. And again, we've been to a lot of events, and our goal is to bring the best that we found and leave out the stuff that we didn't think was valuable and make it the best experience for you. At the end of the day, that's the goal.
100%. Proximity is power. Imagine if this podcast has helped you. You're watching it or listening to it virtually. Imagine what the concert would be like. Again, you listen to music on Spotify or YouTube, and then you go to the concert. It's a whole nother level. That's what Next Level Live is supposed to be. It's supposed to be an in-person version of this podcast, but far deeper, far better. And again, in person is just a different experience. So please join us.
Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 796, we have another heart-driven but no BS episode. Your business isn't succeeding at the level it could. We're going to talk about why from our experience, client experiences, and all of that happy jazz. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. We are grateful for each and every one of you. We do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you soon. Please reach out.